Hello fellow critical thinkers, I'm just a philosophy student and today I'm going to show you why the Joker is an excellent philosopher. The Joker is a critical thinker who substantiates his views and is willing to test them through ethical dilemmas. Many great philosophers have made their mark by offering compelling criticisms or counterexamples to established ideas. First, I'll demonstrate how the Joker's critical analysis qualify him as a philosopher, despite his extreme and often horrific methods. Then, I'll dive into the Joker's views on the nature of humanity and how he seeks to prove his theories through moral experiments, drawing a comparison to the famous trolley problem. And by the end of this video, I hope to show you that through his actions the Joker engages in a form of philosophical inquiry that challenges us to confront our own moral beliefs and the nature of human ethics. How a lot of philosophers work is to disprove or find counterexamples to arguments and views. A person poses a position like killing is bad, for example. Then a philosopher might offer a counterexample for this, like, well, is the police allowed to kill in order to protect themselves or save others? Let's say there is a terrorist in a large square who is shooting with a machine gun around him. Is it bad if a police officer shoots the terrorist and kills him in the process? Most people think it is justified for a police officer to kill in this scenario. Hence, killing is not always bad. This is a counterexample of the position of the philosopher. A great counterexample that changed the field of epistemology is Edmund Getier's deconstruction of a justified true belief being sufficient for knowing something. For many years, a justified true belief meant that you can say that you truly know something. A justified true belief means that in order for someone to say that they know something, it has to be a JTB. For example, a man believes it is raining. This belief is justified because he can see the rain from outside his window. And it is also true that it is raining outside. And Gettier showed that you can believe something, be justified in that belief, and it is the case that this belief can be true, while we would still not say that this person knows something is the case. His counterexample is this. Let's say that two men apply for the same job. Let's call them Smith and Jones, and they do not know each other. Smith sees that Jones is counting coins in his pocket before his interview. Smith sees that Jones has exactly 10 coins in his pocket. After Jones's interview, he tells Smith that the company's president told him that Jones would get the job. So, Smith concludes that the man with 10 coins in his pocket will get the job. But later that day, when Smith gets home, he receives a call that he got the job and not Jones. And during the call, Smith discovers that he also has 10 coins in his pocket. And he did not know that he had 10 coins in his pocket before this. This is a brilliant counterexample to the idea that someone can have a JTB, but yet we would still not say that Smith knew that his conclusion was true. So, offering a counterexample can be a way to be an excellent philosopher, because this counterexample from Gettier was written in an article that is 3 pages long, yet it changed the way we look at knowledge forever. The Joker shows many counterexamples in the movie. Some are the result of his twisted moral dilemmas. He also uses moral dilemmas to undermine Batman's and Gotham's morality. This is an excellent tool for doing philosophy. The most famous current moral dilemma is probably the trolley problem. For those who are unfamiliar with it, it goes like this. There's a runaway trolley headed for 5 innocent people, and there's no way to stop the trolley. But there is another railway, and only one person is on that railway. So, do you either remain passive and let 5 people die, or do you switch the tracks and kill one person? Most people argue that the right thing to do is to switch tracks, so killing one person in order to save 5. But if we change the scenario, where now there's only one railway and the trolley still heads for 5 people, but the trolley can only be stopped by pushing a large man on the tracks, hereby sacrificing him to save 5 people. Both cases question whether we should kill one person in order to save 5. Yet most people would not push the large man in the second dilemma. The introduction of the trolley problem was an excellent way to examine one's ethical intuitions. And the Joker does just that with his ethical dilemmas. The first 3 dilemmas in the film are for the Batman. These dilemmas are for the Joker to see how Batman truly is in his eyes, and to test his principles. The first is that the Batman should unmask himself to save innocent people from being murdered by the Joker. This tests the principle if you're willing to give in to the threats of a terrorist by doing what he wants, or staying anonymous by maintaining a mysterious appearance in order to stay a vigilante. At first, Batman chooses the latter, but the guilt and judgment from others that this choice brings becomes too much. Bruce admits to Alfred that some things even exceed Batman's limitations. Letting innocents die for this cause goes beyond what Batman is capable of. Which means that the Joker has a dilemma that serves as a brilliant counterexample to the view that Bruce has in the beginning of the film, that Batman has no limits and can take everything that Gotham throws his way. The second dilemma is also brilliant, because it forces Batman to break yet another principle, and it is his famous one rule, that Batman will not kill anyone, no matter the circumstances. The Joker kidnapped Rachel Dawes and Harvey Dent and put them in a room with oil drums, and you have to choose one life over the other. In the notorious interrogation scene, the Joker claims that killing is making a choice, choosing between one life or the other. So, if we go by this definition of killing, when Batman decides to save one person, it means that the other one will end up dead, choosing between one life or the other. So, according to this definition, Batman is forced to kill someone, therefore breaking his one rule necessarily. The Joker, being a twisted psychopath, decided to have a little fun by giving the wrong addresses so Batman kills the person he intended to save. We could question this definition of killing, of course. Is killing or letting die the same thing? The Joker makes us question what killing truly means with his philosophical views. The third dilemma for Batman is the scene where he has the chance to run over the Joker and kill him in the process. If Batman should kill the Joker is a famous dilemma amongst Batman fans, because we know that the Joker will never stop his menacing ways, at least when Batman is active. And Batman will stay active as long as Gotham is filled with crime. And because Gotham is so messed up, it will always stay as a city full of crime. Therefore, both Batman and the Joker will remain active. The only way to stop this if one kills the other. The Joker will not kill Batman because he thinks Batman is just too much fun, because he loves causing chaos, especially when there's Batman. An incorruptible man with a one-man war on crime is too interesting not to mess with and just kill off for the Joker, because he says himself, Batman completes the Joker. He is the yin to the Joker's yang, and Batman will not kill the Joker because of his one rule. We see in the scene that Batman is very tempted to break his rule, because the Joker causes so much death and suffering. But his principles are too important in this dilemma, so he decides to swerve out of the way at the last moment. The next 3 dilemmas the Joker poses are not for Batman, but for the citizens of Gotham, but I will get into them later on. Let's delve into why the Joker is posing these dilemmas in the first place. This also forms the reason why he poses the dilemmas for the citizens later on. a large part of the movie can be described as a debate between Batman and the Joker about the true nature of humanity. A lot of the dilemmas that the Joker poses can be seen as arguments for his position, or counterexamples why other positions are wrong. The Joker has a pessimistic view of humanity. One of the most famous pessimistic views on the nature of humanity is held by the philosopher Thomas Hobbes. Quote, "Life in the state of nature is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short." End quote. Hobbes means that humans tend to be nasty creatures if they are not in a civilized society. It can only be moral creatures when they are in a civilized society. In the state of nature, according to Hobbes, there is no overarching authority or social structure to enforce moral standards or resolve conflicts peacefully. Instead, individuals are driven by self-interest and the pursuit of power, leading to a perpetual state of war and insecurity. Quote, "You see, their morals, their code. It's a bad joke, dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other." End quote. It seems that the Joker has similar views about humanity and tries to show that if given the opportunity, the real face of humanity will show itself. While Hobbes and the Joker have similar views on the nature of humanity, they have vastly different ideas about how to deal with this. Hobbes claims that a structured society is necessary so that humans will continue to behave well. We can all flourish as much as society allows us to. Whereas the Joker claims, when he's speaking with Harvey in the hospital, that how humans are in the state of nature is the proper way of a just and fair society. Of course, the Joker could say that it is just and fair to manipulate him, but to me, it seems the Joker genuinely believes that this is how society should be. He upsets the balance of Gotham by showing this message. For example, the Joker tells Batman that the people of Gotham need him now, but when they do not, they will cast you out. We see this when the police inform Gordon's wife of her husband's death, and the first thing she does is blame Batman. The detective blames Batman for the deaths of Richard Dent and Patrick Harvey, and so does the rest of Gotham. They even demand that he should turn himself in, because someone says that they will do horrible things when you don't. Imagine, there is a crazy killer on the loose, and for some reason he tells the world that he will kill people every day until you, the person who is watching this video, goes naked to your local supermarket and posts a video of it on the internet for the whole world to see. If you do not comply, does that make you responsible for the killings? I will leave that up to you. Another thing that the Joker points out is that morality is a bad joke, and that people will only use it when it is convenient for them. Because people tend to scheme and deceive in order for their plans to work out. The Joker shows that in society we need to create a narrative, even if it is false, to allow people to stay civilized. Like when the hospital Gotham General needed to be evacuated and afterwards Harvey Dent was missing, Gordon's response was to lie to the citizens of Gotham to not cause a panic. In Joker's view, this shows how fragile morality is for people. They can't even know the true whereabouts of a single individual without losing their minds. And in the end, they also cover up the fact that Harvey Dent got dragged down to Joker's level and became an agent of chaos and justice as well. This creates a very twisted narrative of how cops were killed and what happened to Harvey Dent and can happen to people in general. Harvey Dent was Joker's ultimate guinea pig. He wanted to show how fragile people's morality is, and he did not just pick any random person, but arguably the best person in the entire city, Gotham's White Knight. Batman and Gordon proved Joker's point by admitting that if Gotham knew what Harvey did, everything would be undone what is done. and that they need to deceive Gotham by creating a false narrative in order for people to remain civilized. This was Joker's ace in the hole argument for his view. It just took a couple of days for the most honorable man in Gotham, a man of the law, the Attorney General, to become an agent of chaos. So now for the remaining 3 dilemmas. The next dilemma is that the Joker tells the citizens of Gotham that if Coleman Reese is not dead in the next hour, he will blow up a hospital. This is very tempting to the citizens, as it is just one life versus the lives of an entire hospital full of people. We see that people do not even need to think about this one for long, because within minutes there are already shots fired at Reese, even though it asks a lot from people. It is not as easy as pulling a lever in the original trolley problem, or even pushing a fat man on the tracks, but killing a person directly. Yet, it is easy enough for the citizens, because one person living, or an entire hospital living, does not weigh up for a lot of people. Besides, it could be their loved one who could end up dead if they do not kill this man. The Joker is clearly planning his dilemmas carefully, because he builds up an easy way for people of Gotham to consider killing an innocent person. The next dilemma the Joker tells people that if they stay in Gotham, that they will have to play by the Joker's rules, whatever that means. This is near the end of the film, and the Joker at this point killed lots of people and blew up a hospital already. So everyone take this threat very seriously. And most of what we see is that people do attempt to flee Gotham. He never actually does anything in Gotham. It was just a fearful tactic, which led into the next dilemma. The Joker showed how fragile society is. He can change the way society is with a few drums of gas and a couple of bullets. Which leads right to his final dilemma, the ferry. Because of the commotion surrounding the fleeing of Gotham, the mayor and Gordon decided prisoners should also leave Gotham, because they could be used to cause even more chaos. But the Joker mentioned that the bridges and tunnels are not a safe way to flee the city. So, if you want to flee safely, you are forced to use the ferries. In the climactic ferry scenario, 2 boats, one with ordinary citizens, the other with prisoners and guards, are rigged with explosives. The Joker announces that each group must choose to blow up the other boat by midnight, or both boats will explode. This is definitely the hardest dilemma for the people of Gotham. It asks a group of citizens and a group of criminals and guards to choose to take the lives of the other group in order to save their own group. Most versions of the trolley problem forces you to choose between 2 groups, but seldom do those groups involve yourself. Would you save your own group if it means that you have to take down another group? And are the lives of ordinary citizens worth more than those of criminals? On the civilian ferry, passengers vote to detonate the other boat, driven by fear and self-interest. However, on the prisoner ferry, a convict unexpectedly throws away the detonator, rejecting the Joker's premise and showcasing a profound act of moral courage. This surprising outcome challenges the Joker's belief that people will always act selfishly and immorally under pressure, marking the first time in the film that one of his dilemmas does not unfold as he expects. It demonstrates that humans will not necessarily sacrifice another group to save their own, and that people are not always easily swayed by the threat of terror. In many philosophical debates, counterexamples serve to undermine the views of a philosopher. The ferry dilemma in The Dark Knight acts as a counterexample to the Joker's pessimistic view of humanity. Do you think this example is sufficient to undermine the Joker's philosophy? Moreover, would people in the real world respond similarly if placed in the same dilemma? This invites us to ponder whether the Joker's view of human nature is universally applicable, or if there's more to human morality than he perceives. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really wonder what you guys make of all of this. So please, leave behind a comment and let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. And as always, I've been just a philosophy student, and I see you in the next video.